Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and it's time for another live game of StarCraft 2. And what I got for you today is a game that I am playing right now at the exact same time as I'm also giving commentary to it. This is going to be a Terran versus Zerg. Now I'm going up against Nuke, who is indeed also in the Lowko clan, and as you may have already noticed, I'm playing under the purple colors, meaning that this is going to be a custom game meant for practice. Now for those of you that have been watching the live stream, really in like 2018 so far, you may have noticed that I have been playing a ton of random. I've been really liking playing all three races once again, and while, near the ending of last year, I kind of got stuck playing Zerg once again, because, let's be honest, Zerg is absolutely incredible. I am really enjoying the way that both the Terran pieces and the Protoss pieces feel right now. I feel like we've gotten a lot better than the last time that I did a Terran live game, although I don't even really recall exactly when that was. Now, regardless, I've been really liking the Terran versus Zerg style for Terran, where you go for a mech-based composition. So, focusing on the mechanical units has been my go-to in TVZ, just because microing, and I'll be honest, microing Marines versus Banelings on creep, it's just extremely hard. It's just extremely hard. So let's see if I can go ahead and pull this off. I've been really liking the double factory based openers. They're technically speaking not the strongest ones right now when when it comes to playing the TVZ matchup. I mean, not a whole lot of the pro gamers will be opening up with, for example, double factory, but I've been actually really liking the way that it transitions towards the mid game. And let's be honest, I mean, I am currently in Master 1, right? I am a Master 1 random player once again, but I am not facing off against the top-of-the-line Korean players that will just simply scout that and immediately counter it as well, right? We're definitely going up, not against weak opponents. I mean, my opponent right here, for example, is still definitely in Master League, but there's no denying that that for the most part, it can be a little bit different when you are facing off against, for example, people in the GSL. They will just simply scout and look at it and immediately know exactly the amount of drones they need to make. On the ladder so far, I can definitely recommend going for a style similar to the one that I'm going to try and show you in this particular game. So here we go. My first Reaper is now across the map. Do indeed find out that my opponent is already going for a quick third base, it looks like. Pretty cheeky. I'm gonna, of course, try to micro here to the best of my abilities. It can sometimes get a little bit tricky. Let's start up that second factory as well. Saturate that first one. And, well, if I can get that tumor, I'll grab it. Thank you very much, buddy. That's actually a pretty big loss. A lot of Zerg players have recently been adding on those tumors really early. And that most definitely is a bit of a painful moment. We can now go ahead and get the orbital command going in the natural. We'll get the second reactor here as well. And I'll just keep patrolling around here just to prevent my opponent from getting that third base up for free. He's actually sent out the queen right now just to try and be a bit of a nuisance here as well. Alright, sadly could not deny it any longer there, but that's okay. We can follow it up right now with, of course, the Cyclones. Cyclones, extremely helpful. Really allow you to put on the pressure here. And the nice thing that I like about this a lot is that I can use this to quickly transition towards, for example, a third command center. I can add on additional factories. We can even go starport if we really want to. And it really allows you to go for a pretty solid style. Now, my opponent right now is scouting about here with that single overlord. Did get a glimpse of that one. We'll have to continuously build up as much as we can. Now, he does have overlord speed, so I don't think I'm going to be able to catch that one. You do have to be a little bit careful though, because there's a chance he's going to be going for the run-by here. So I'm actually going to be rallying some of my reinforcements over there for the time being. Just to make sure. Oh, my opponent actually now randomly got a bunch of Zerglings over there too, so nice pickup by him. But it's alright. We're mostly just using we're mostly just using the Hellions and the Cyclones right now as sort of like a stepping stone. I want to make sure that we get up a whole bunch of units, but mostly that we build up our economy. And rather than just letting Zerg do whatever they want, we can really determine the early game like this, just by simply controlling what's going on here. Now we can quickly nuke down that Overlord though, if he's not careful. Let's go ahead and take the third gas here. I'm gonna try and see if I can get that tumor. Likely won't. Still definitely not bad for us either though. Now we do want to transition out of this at some point, right? I don't want to be stuck on this for too long either. It is a little bit tricky sometimes because it's very easy to continuously build more and more stuff. But right now, since I hit a small supply block anyway, it doesn't really matter all too much. I can use this time that I made available just now to snipe another tumor here. But more importantly, to also start up that third command center. And right now, an additional 2 factories right over here. He could have gone for a run by here to try and make this a little bit easier on himself. But obviously, leaving units at home means that he can easily defend against whatever it is that I'm throwing at him. Saturate that gas. And since I haven't really seen any kind of tech units here from him either, I'm still hitting away at that base, by the way. It's really starting to hurt him quite a bit. I have started up the transition right now as well towards upgrades, but also an engineering bay just in case I'm going to need turrets. There's a chance that he's going to be capable of going for a lot of units here. We are currently nibbling away at that base, and so far it is starting to run real low on health. There we go. Decided to go for the snipe. There's no denying that Hellions are pretty good when it comes to firing against these Zerglings. While I am currently caught at a bit of a weird angle, I did get the third base kill there, which is nice, and now that the Hellions are gone, I think I'm going to be alright when it comes to transitioning here. You know what? I think I can even just fight this. We do want to be a little careful. Got another factory just about to finish up. Or at the very least another tech lab right there just about to finish up. Third command center, of course, is already done. Let us go ahead and start up the, not that one, sorry. The siege tank right here. Right from the get-go. And now that we've seen Roaches, by the way, I can go ahead and, at the very least, skip any kind of real scary play here for a while. I mean, I don't really need to worry about Mutas right now. I do want to land that expansion in just a little bit, but we'll have to be careful. I'll just fly it over there for now that we've landed most of this stuff. Ooh. Look at that speedy guy. Although, he will indeed be shut down as well. Now we can get our upgrades right now and set ourselves up for a really nice timing attack. I'll go ahead and get a single siege tank set up in that corner. I also want to make sure that I get some depots in the corners of my base to make sure that I know whether or not my opponent is going to try and go, for example, for a switch towards a Nydus Worm. We have to make sure that we see that in time. It's very easy to be caught with your pants down against that kind of stuff. And we'll try and really, you know, use these Hellions once again to be active, but build up that big, scary Terran mech base composition. Yeah, I was gonna say, I did make depots, right? I didn't mean to hit another supply block there. As you can see, I am making some errors here and there, but so far, all things considered, it is going pretty well. I'm gonna start sending over some SCVs towards that newly acquired base. I want to get a sensor tower going on over there, and we'll see if we can maybe do a little bit of scouting here as well as to what it is my opponent is going for. Not a lot of drones here. That is an indication that he's likely going to go for some sort of push. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a whole lot here either. There is a Nydus apparently in the main base. Didn't quite catch that one. Alright. We'll have to try and see if we can potentially hold this. Nicely played by him so far. We are dealing quite a bit of damage here in the meantime, though, on the other side of the map, which is nice, but I don't think I don't know if you have enough right now to prevent this from immediately killing us. I looked at the corners of my base, but not on my, not inside of my main there. Okay. Trying to leapfrog over these siege tanks into a bit of a better position. He's still dealing quite a bit of damage though, trying to get these important structures out of there. Okay. Let's get ourselves another one of those things. And while this wasn't the cleanest defense, I should have just been looking out for that a little bit better. We do know that he committed a lot of his economy to try and get this up and running. So let's start hitting away at that thing in the main base right now. And we'll get that that command center back in action over there. Okay. Whew. I was assuming he was going to go for some run-bys and whatnot as well, but that's not quite the case. Very nicely done there. Let's transition towards +2 here as soon as we can. And we'll probably... Oh, actually, there's nothing in the main base. I was going to say, we will probably have to transition right now as well towards more and more scans there to make sure that we know exactly what it is that's going on, but apparently the creep just needs a little bit of time to dissipate.
Insufficient.
Okay. Sending some Hellions across the map once again.
Not enough.
He definitely won't have a massive amount of economy, by the way, which is pretty annoying for him. I still have, of course, quite a bit myself. I mean, we're landing mules, right? Sacrificing a bunch of Hellions here, though. I don't know if that was the smartest decision. We do need to settle down right now the amount of units that we have, though, or the amount of economy that I have, bro, because I don't have a ton of workers. Yeah, 62 is not a ton. But we're still transitioning towards a nice, solid mech-based army here. I can even go ahead and get myself another command center right now. I would like to scan the main. Okay. So there's a chance he's gonna go for some Muta switches, for example.
Not enough mineral field. Not enough minerals.
Actually, I'm gonna cancel some of those.
Add-on complete.
And I'm gonna go for some switches right now myself to Thors as well, because I think those are gonna be pretty important here.
Enough energy.
Pretty passive style so far by me, but I think it's the correct one. Once again, gonna start up my blue flame upgrade.
Additional supply depots.
Okay.
Required.
Not bad. I'll have to try and transition right now as well to more supply depots. We are getting a pretty solid amount of economy here already, though.
Additional supply depots required. Additional supply depots required.
Okay, just barely need a nick of time there. You can see that? I could have actually gone real bad.
Not enough. Upgrade complete.
Really trying to add on a lot of Thors right now as well, though, but it's pretty tricky. They're not cheap units.
Not enough minerals.
I have to be careful. He could swoop around right now in the natural. Or in the third base. Yeah, there he goes. Thors, are you guys coming? You are, but you're a little slow.
Insufficient gas. Mineral field depleted.
Okay.
Not enough.
All we need to do is really max out. If I manage to max out, we're gonna be in a pretty good position.
Under attack. Not enough minerals. Insufficient
Okay.
gas.
Let's get you over here once again. And we'll try and add on a bunch of Thors. Eventually, I do want to go for a big push here. Go ahead, land, please. Thank you. Transition towards a planetary fortress on this one. And of course, a couple of missile turrets here near the front. Whew, okay. Could have once again been terrible, but another Zerg aggression averted there. We have now got 78 or 75? Yeah, 75 workers. That's more than enough. Thors are really good when it comes to fighting this. As you may have already been aware. They deal splash damage, of course, to air, so I don't want to, you know, switch over right now to high impact mode or whatever. Don't really want to do that.
Command center upgrade complete.
Alright. I think it is about time we go for a bit of a push ourselves now, though. Alright. This can go really bad really quickly, though.
Unacceptable, command. We are at maximum supply.
He's trying to buy time right now, which makes me think, yeah, exactly, that he's gonna have a chance to switch right now towards air-based units. For example, he could be going for a switch to Brute Lords, right? And Brute Lords could become a bit of an issue.
Mineral field depleted.
Time to slow push over in this direction. He's probably gonna pull the Mutas away.
Is under attack.
Okay, very nice.
Mineral field depleted.
Okay. Continuously trying to send units in. Very nice. We're taking out one of his bases. He's gonna have to fight me somewhere. Let's get some reactors on those. Very nice. Well, I just unsieged those, sadly. Don't know what I expected. Okay, we have a scary, scary army, though. Even unsieged, they can still do a lot of damage. These Thors just managed to clean up the majority of those scary, scary units. He's got a really solid creep spread here, but I feel like we can clean up most of that. It'll take a second or so to disappear. Ooh, hey, what's up? Rallying all my units across the map right now. I'm also gonna start making another expansion here. Okay, we're maxed out, of course, for a while here already. Let's get ourselves a couple more upgrades. Base over here is now also under a lot of pressure. Looks like he may try and go for a bit of a counter-attack here with some of these units. Luckily, we still have some of our other army units here out on the map as well. Hey, what's this? Okay. Here he comes with another wave. He's still got a lot of units, though. Okay, we may have to go back for just a little bit, to be honest. Did end up killing a lot of drones there. But he still has a more... Yeah, he's got more than enough units to stop this right now. So we'll have to try and transition here for a little bit ourselves. He's gonna likely go for a counter-attack right now. We killed a lot of workers, though. He barely has got any workers anymore, I think. Let's repair up our planetary. Okay, going for a lot of Vikings right now as well. Vikings, of course, very nice when it comes to killing a bunch of these units. In particular, the Vipers are an issue there, so if we can take those out, we could probably have our siege tanks be in a free reign, right? If they cannot shut down the siege tanks, we'll likely be in a really good spot. Okay. Just buying time. We've got money. Okay, so he's going for a greater spire right now as well.
Upgrade complete.
Could do with a little bit of a better management as far as my mineral to gas ratio goes. I think I could do a bit better with that. I also could use with a little, or I could use a little bit more vision. But this is not looking bad. This is not looking bad.
Command center upgrade complete.
Cool.
Our SCVs are under attack. Mineral field completed.
Alright. Just waiting patiently. Let's fly you over towards the bottom left-hand corner. I'll send a couple of my Vikings there too in case an Overlord is hanging out there.
SCVs are under attack.
You've got a really solid amount of economy though. Oh hey, single SCV apparently really wanted to scout out what's going on there. We should get the smart servos upgrade.
Upgrade complete.
And probably some more units over there as well. Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe he's gonna go for a big push here. You know what? I think it's time for us to unsiege and move over.
Not enough minerals.
He's not gonna have an easy time breaking any of these bases.
What's going on? I'm in a heap of trouble.
I do not want him to have this base here on this side of the map either, right? So let us try and move over. I know I killed a lot of his workers, so we're all good as far as that goes. It'll just be a little bit of time before we can properly kill all of this. Trying to leapfrog my tanks forward here.
Not enough minerals.
Let's land some mules over on that newly acquired base. And while it does take some time for all of this creep to disappear, I've got a feeling we are in a good spot where we can potentially even close out the game right now. We've got a lot of Vikings anyway. Okay, that base is gone now too. While he's doing a great job holding on so far, we are still producing a lot more units. Okay. He does have some mining overall or going on at that base. We'll land the Vikings there. Okay. Unsieged tanks are still gonna be pretty good. And my opponent decides to say, GG, well played. I was curious as far as the amount of workers created goes. I created 103 SCVs, but he made 175 drones in total. Alrighty, so here we are in the replay of this match. So let's discuss what I think went really well and what I think could use a little bit of improvement. So there's a couple of things that I think went well. First off, the very first Reaper that came out, it actually did a substantial amount of damage. And let me try and show you, right? So sometimes you have the option to go for a couple of drone kills, and that's obviously very good. But sometimes you can snipe the very first tumor, and that's a massive deal. Sniping the first creep tumor of a Zerg is really annoying because it slows them down a lot. And I think it's actually the reason why eventually we were capable of sniping the third base location as well. So the Queen comes out. It places down a tumor right there on the very edge. The Reaper was right next door, and that allowed us to snipe it right away. Now here's the thing, I'm transitioning towards this double factory style, and by the way, in case you're interested, I'll leave a link to this build order down below in the description of this video, because I actually did make a video about this build. It's actually a pretty old innovation strategy for the TVZ matchup. Recently, it's become a little bit more popular again with the changes to the Cyclone and whatnot, but regardless, I'll leave a link to it down below in the description in case you're interested. Here's the thing though, I've started roaming the map right now with my Cyclones and my Hellions, and at that point in the game, the creep is nowhere to be seen just yet. I believe I snipe another tumor right around this time as well. Well, I close to snipe that one anyway. I think actually the expansion of that one I do manage to kill. Yep, there we go. So imagine, right, if the creep would have been all the way out here. I mean, if I didn't snipe the first tumor, it would have been out a little bit further. If I didn't snipe the second one either, it would have been out all the way here. I would have not been able to snipe the third base. So sniping that first tumor with the Reaper was actually a very big deal. Now, I do hit a bit of a supply block. I think right around 70 or so. In the meantime, though, we have already started transitioning towards additional factories and at Command Center too. Now, obviously, my army here ends up getting surrounded. I get the majority of the units out of there, or at the very least, the most important ones. But here's where I make a major error. So I pick up the third base kill, and I start turning into a pretty passive Terran player. Here's what I should have been doing. So notice right now, right, at the 6 minute and 45 second mark, the Nydus is being produced already. However, my Hellions are at home. I'm assuming he's gonna go for some kind of counterattack, but why am I not more active here with the Hellions? Well, mostly because it's a lot of effort, and I was busy doing other things at the same time, right? So notice right here, for about a good, minute and a half or so, I am not harassing, and that's a big deal. The reason for that, I don't even really need to scan the main base right now. The reason why I need to be more active is because as soon as I see this, I see there's no Roaches out on the map, I see there's no Queens, and more importantly, there's only like 5 drones right now at that third base. As soon as I see that, right, I should have put one and one together and realized that something aggressive should have been going on. So as soon as I shut down the aggression, sure, I can go and sit back for a little bit, but I need to make sure that I get out on the map once again with the Hellions so I can figure out roughly what the Zerg's follow-up is going to be. I mean, there's a good option that he would have been going for a drone setup once again, right? But instead, he just decided to go for that Nydus Worm. Now, luckily for me, I did enough damage in the earlier part of the game, and I've got that transition towards siege tanks coming up early enough here as well to prevent it from immediately killing me here. But there definitely was a bit of a moment here where I thought that I could have lost the game. Luckily, I did leave a siege tank in the main base, and they are just simply shooting from a distance, dealing an awful lot of damage. We also successfully repaired up that orbital command, and eventually we hold on, and he's gonna go back to droning. But this was a bit of a nail-biter over here. I mean, I could have lost the game right at this moment. So I think that's one of the first major improvements that I could easily make. Just be very active with Hellions continuously. Now, don't do this. I mean, I snipe a bunch of drones once again, but I also lose a whole bunch of my Hellions. I don't think necessarily that's worth it, but it doesn't really matter all too much. I do like my follow-up scan in the main base, though. If we go back just a little bit, I'm scanning the main base right here, and I figure out that indeed it is gonna be a Spire without a Hive. So that's an indication that he's likely gonna be going for Mutalisk. I should probably have cancelled these Thors right from the get-go, or rather the siege tanks right from the get-go and started up Thors. I should have also put up a couple more tumors, or a couple more turrets right here, just to make sure that we don't lose anything. But all things considered, right, the Thors were out in time and we prevented ourselves from losing right away. This does mean, though, that you're forced to play this defensive Terran mech style, which is a little bit tricky. I lose a couple of units here and there, almost end up losing that base once again here too. But already, right, we're getting that very scary 2-2 upgraded mech army out. We're approaching a maxed out state, and while I feel like my slow push could have been a little bit better, I'm actually overall pretty happy with the way that I defended against this Muta play, because in many games in the past, I just lost the game right then and there. As soon as 14 Mutas come out, I just simply lost the game. Very nicely done right there by Nuke. Going for the smart choices right there. When you're in a bit of a disadvantage, usually those are the kind of things that can bring you back into the game. So I do decide to go for a slow push here. Now, what I should have done better here is save up some more scans. I was busy landing mules here, and that's fine. But I don't have any scans here. That means that I'm forced to engage on creep. Also, I did not get my starports up fast enough. Pretty much, you know, there's really two options, right? After this early game here from the Zerg player, either he's gonna transition towards Vipers or he's gonna transition towards Brute Lords, and he could have also gone for both, right? Ultras aren't really a great option against Thors and siege tanks. So in both scenarios, I would have been in a in both of those situations, right? I would have been in a great moment myself there as well if I would have transitioned towards Vikings faster. So I think adding on these starports right around the time that I also took the 4th base would have been the correct option. Even having like 4 or so of them right now would have made a very big difference. Now I do end up killing a lot of drones here. 53 in total already in this game. But still, right? Like, I mean, if I would have been able to snipe a couple of these Vipers earlier, I would have prevented them from turning around and casting more blinding clouds. Luckily for me, though, I was busy transitioning towards more and more bases, so I think that was pretty decent here. But I've done a crippling amount of damage here as far as the economy goes. I mean, I think I've killed, yeah, 84 drones at this point. Keep sacrificing in Hellions right now. At this moment in the game, I do like that. The reason why I do like it right now is because I don't really want him to move out. I just simply want to, you know, take a little bit of time and once again max out. So, you know, sacrificing in a few Hellions buys a bunch of time. But at this point, I mean, we have several planetary fortresses all over the map. I'm taking another base here in the bottom left-hand corner, or floated the main base over towards that moment. And at this point in the game, it's very difficult for a Zerg player to come back because Terran is slow pushing. And as long as I get rid of the creep, right? And I just wait a second for it all to dissipate, usually you're gonna be in a really good scenario because Zerg just simply can't hold on when you've killed this many workers already as well. And eventually Nuke decides to GG out. So very fun game there. I like the way that my Terran is progressing, but I do think there's still a lot of errors that I could easily patch up as well. I feel like I am making progress, but I am by no means playing it perfectly just yet. And that's one of the exciting things that I love about StarCraft. When you're trying to improve, right? There's always someone out there that's better. And usually that means that you just simply have to keep on practicing to try and get at their level as well. But for now, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. Other than that, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you in the next one.